I was in Darjeeling Government College. Yeah.
Hmm.
So many of my seniors had already joined into Indian Forest Service.
Okay.
So that way, when you see your seniors are joining, then obviously you see, yes, there is an opportunity, to be of service to the environment. Difficulty of being in the forest service, yes.
Okay.
And obviously, but the cadre, earlier I was in difficult cadre. That time I had some difficulties. We had some executive power, which we could talk with people, mobilize different stakeholders, and bring them in to clean the buffer area of Valley of Flowers National Park.
The hills of the Nanda Devi Biosphere would have lost in the dump of garbage and plastic if not for her. She not only cleaned and restored them, but Valley of Flower was declared as a World Heritage Site in 2005 by UNESCO due to her efforts. We are talking about the first female IFS officer with the tribal background and awardee of prestigious Indira Gandhi Paryavaran Puraskar, Ms. Jyotsna Sitling. It is really our pleasure to have her today with us to talk about her journey and current environment issues. So let's welcome her. Welcome, ma'am. First of all, I would like to really know, ki, did you always wanted to be an Indian Forest Services officer, or was there any event or person who inspired you towards that?
Pallavi, it is like this. I was very much inclined to work on the environment front.
Okay.
So in schools and colleges also, I had participated into a number of environmental campaigns. So obviously, forest service was my first option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and how did you always knew about, because as far as UPSC CSC is concerned, most of the people, although the prelims exams is same for Indian Forest Services also, but people are not aware, especially I think most of aspirants are also not aware about this exam. So how do you came to know about it, and what was your journey in cracking this exam? So that bit I wanted to know in brief, if you can share.
See, I was in Darjeeling Government College. Yeah.
Hmm.
So many of my seniors had already joined into Indian Forest Service.
Okay.
So that way, when you see your seniors are joining, then obviously you see, yes, there is an opportunity, to be of service to the environment. So that's how I opted for Indian Forest Service. At that point of time, the prelims used to be separate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Like now it's combined prelims, but they have a separate means and all. Yeah. So also, ma'am, after joining the Indian Forest Services officer, if you can compare it with other services like IAS, IPS, or foreign services, do you think it is difficult, and how difficult it was for you when you look back to your journey?
See, every service has its own difficulties and its own, whatever, clam quotient. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, given that now, if you have made a choice,
Hmm.
then I, since I had made my personal choice, so I never felt difficulty of being in the forest service. Yes.
Okay.
And obviously, but the cadre, earlier I was in difficult cadre. That time I had some difficulties.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were in Uttarakhand cadre only, no? Or
So
some?
I had altogether three cadres.
Okay.
I was in Jammu Kashmir cadre,
Okay.
Uttar Pradesh cadre.
And then after
Then
when
after when Uttarakhand came into being, I applied for Uttarakhand, and luckily I got Uttarakhand. Yes.
okay, yeah. So how was it when you look back at your journey? Was it, matlab, it was more than 2-3 decades. So was it fulfilling? You have achieved some remarkable milestone, I must say. So for you, do you feel it was a fulfilling journey?
Yes, it's a very fulfilling journey for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it continues, I guess. So what is what
It's continuing even after retirement.
right? So what are you doing right now, if I could ask, on
I,
environmental?
I am on to many things right now. So
Okay.
I am I've become like a civil society organization also. I
Yeah.
am now member advisory committee to SEBI on social stock exchange.
Okay.
So
So that also
it's
is
a
good,
number of hats I'm wearing right now.
right?
Yes.
And so now coming to your, the most highlighted point of your career, that was, I think, reviving Valley of Flowers. So you are credited for that, and which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I wanted to understand, how did you do so, and how did it start when you were posted in, I think, Nanda Devi Park? Then I think you started that. So I wanted to know the story. How did it start, and what all you did?
See, these type of work do not start when I get posted there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally, when you are very much in with certain process and systems, you follow while you are a public servant. That gets manifested when you go and you get a situation to
Happen.
work for,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before then, that also, I think I had done lots of work more than that in Dunwali watershed management project,
Yeah. Yeah.
where where my job basically as a public servant is to rouse passion in people to work for themselves.
Right. Huh.
So that's how in Doon Valley also, uh,
I have
I
a question on Dune Valley also, but I first wanted to understand like how this journey of reviving Valley of Flowers started. I think you mobilized people for, first of all, you collected, I think, 50 tons or more than that tons of garbage.
was mobilizing people
Yeah.
because we
So
didn't
that
have,
journey.
okay, that journey you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we didn't have anything, but at least we had some executive power
Hmm.
with which we could talk with people, mobilize different stakeholders, and bring them in to clean the buffer area of Valley of Flowers National Park. Yeah.
Right. Hmm.
So that's how we started working. We started convincing people first, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep shops like this, then it will become very difficult for you to have sustainable tourism, because the whole 19 kilometers route was full of filth.
Right.
It's not that people did not want change, but they did not know, mm, whom to what I can believe as a
Right.
leader to bring in change, basically. Then we thought, especially under my leadership, we thought that can we be a change maker with them. So that's how we started our journey with the villagers.
Hmm.
Especially women folk came forward to pick the solid waste, garbage, everything that was there, along with forest staff. And the work went on and on. So after, I think, about for 6 months, we could gather 50 tons of plastic waste.
And what did you do with them? I think you, मतलब what was the process of getting them recycled? Because collecting is one thing, and getting it recycled and
Yeah, in Uttarakhand, very early, all these things had been done in that. It's not a project, in that initiative. Yeah.
right. Hmm.
So, given that, actually, when we brought 50 tons of plastic down there in Govind Ghat,
Hmm.
the government staff were not very supportive, because they had their own interest also. So government staff means not forest department staff, other staff,
Yeah,
matlab,
I got it. Huh.
yeah. So given that, what we did was that the eco development committee who collected those garbage, they floated in newspapers that any buyers, please
Okay.
come, we have got 50 tons of plastic waste. But no one came, and even if they came, they said that it's not sorted out.
Mhm.
It's a it's a loss for us basically if we buy.
Mhm.
So one buyer from I think Delhi came, but he told that bring that garbage to Dehradun. I'll pay 30,000 rupees. But the cartage cost of garbage itself was about 98,000 rupees in 15 truckloads. So given then we again got determined that you will sort out this plastic and we will show to the government that how what is the cost of managing recycling of 1 kg of plastic waste, and we
Right.
showed it to the government and it was coming about I think 53 rupees a kg. That
Okay.
was the cost, yeah,
Mhm.
of recycling post consumer plastic waste. So given that now after that government came forward to install plastic densification plants in the interior hills, because had we lumped that 15 truckloads of plastic way there in Josimat, then it would have been only half a truck.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that way, when the overhead cost of handling plastic waste is high,
Mhm.
then very little of economy will trickle down to others like rack pickers, and there will be no rack picking business. So it's only the post-consumer plastic waste handling is also a big. You have to see how a viable business operates to get rid of plastic and take the plastic to the logical end. So that way.
Right. So after that, government intervened.
Government came forward, and I think in 2016 I had done one study. By
Hmm.
the time 24 plastic densification plants were installed by the government in the interior of hills,
Right.
mostly in the near Char Dhams, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So now, and now the all the plastic waste it's managed under public-private partnership. It has been given to Nagar Palikas, Nagar Panchayat, whatever, in the destination. So that way they are getting the fund also
Hmm.
by
Madam,
it's a small
creating wealth out of
yeah. So that way.
garbage. Yeah. And one more thing you did, I think you were able to bring down you mentioned also that you were able to bring down the number of shops in that trek trail that leads to Hemkund
Yeah,
Sahib
yeah,
from
yeah.
400 to 70. I wanted to understand how did the people, the shop owners, were convinced of that, or what wasn't, were there any protest, like,
No, no, no protest. We told them that there also you have to explain in economic sense. Now, if you keep a shop and sublet that shop,
Mhm.
you occupy 4 places and you sublet 3 places to others in 10,000, 15,000, 5,000 rupees.
Right.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
you are getting 30,000. But if you keep one shop, number of tourists is same.
Hmm.
Now more tourists will over here, then you'll be able to do primary business directly to the tourists. So
Right.
your profit will increase. So what happened in the first year itself when they used to earn 30,000 rupees,
Mhm.
they earned from 1 lakh to 1,50,000 rupees by selling themselves.
Wow.
So that made lot of sense. That's the you are telling,
Hmm.
yeah.
Got it. So it's still the number is same, 76 only, or has the number increased in that trek
I
trail?
think it is same.
Okay.
Yeah, because that initiative is still continuing. The roads are kept clean and all. So I need to go and ask, but I have not asked, but it must be same. Once you have made the rules, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and like you have always worked with community, whether it was in Valley of Flower, or I think you were mentioning Dune. So have has it ever happened that you felt insecure because of the confrontation from the locals or poachers or any land mafia? Any incident or anecdote you would like to share with us?
No, not particularly, because when people are with us
Hmm.
and when the staff are vigilant, yeah,
Hmm.
because wherever I went, I used to make the people as informers. So
Hmm.
that way, when people are with us, then obviously such antisocial elements will get difficult to you know make
Operate. Right.
operate, make inroads. Yes.
Yeah, and since every forest officer has mostly worked with tribal people, because they are the one living on the fringes or buffer area. You have a tribal background, you come from that family. So, do you think it helped in when you were communicating with people, so they understood well, or you were able to make them understand because of that?
See, I do not think so. My tribal background has helped, but
Okay.
my being a rural girl and a
Okay.
mountain girl has definitely helped.
Yeah, so you could, connect with people, I see. And also, ma'am, you just now, I obviously said ki